So after Turkey had that super disappointing card in New York City in Times Square, it was announced that the first ever TKO boxing fight is going to be Canelo versus Bud Crawford, which is a little intense. A little intense. They're jumping right into the deep waters with Turkey and Dana White. But if you didn't know, TKO Boxing is now a thing. TKO is the group that owns WWE and the UFC. So it's going to be, some of the big brass behind both companies also involved with this, heading with Dana White in Turkey, which is cool. On paper, that's cool. But what promotion does the UFC do? The UFC does literally zero promotion. We do a 20-minute press conference once a month, not open to the public to ask questions, and the media has their questions reviewed. Can we get like a face to face for Bud Crawford Canelo? Please. Please. And what's really weird is Crawford's moving up 14 pounds from his last fight, where he didn't really look that good at 154. Let's be real. My boy did not look that good at 154 when he fought Madridivov. Okay? He wasn't looking that nice. Canelo's a natural 168 pounder who's been bullying guys at this weight for probably as long as I've been alive, to be honest. My boy's fighting welterweights and dodging David Benavidez. Can we pick on somebody our own size for Canelo, please? Please. Please. Can we get Benavidez versus Canelo instead of Crawford versus, Canelo? But okay, that's a thought. That's a thought. Maybe that could be the second TKO fight. But Dana, you don't promote your own company. You don't. You don't. MMA guru's right. You just send people to Nina drama. You send people to Nina drama. People have to ask to go on the Good Guy Bad Guy show with fucking Chael Sonnen in DC. We don't do face-to-face. We don't do sit-downs. We do 20-minute press conferences where it's not open to the public and you get your questions rehearsed. Sorry. Can we please get some bad blood? Please. Please. Can we just have a scheduling overlap where they meet each other in a parking garage and for whatever reason a cameraman's there? Something to make it interesting. And whatever you do for this fight, Dana, if you decide, oh, you know what, this is going to be the first ever TKO boxing fight, it's going to be massive, we're going to run the promotion through the roof. We're going to have face-to-face interviews. We're going to have scheduling overlaps where these guys run into each other in the parking lot and there's a cameraman on the way. It's right there. It's going to be a little scuffle. It's going to get crazy. We're going to have their dads face off. Whatever you decide to do for this boxing fight, you better turn your ass around and do it for the UFC. I'm tired of these 20-minute press conferences, bro. I'm tired of it. I really am. Can we sit the main event guys in a room, whoever's in the main event, can we sit them in a room for 25, 30 minutes just by themselves and let them talk shit to each other? Please. Please. Or we just have them on Zoom. If you don't want to get these guys in the same room, I understand if it might be Islam or whoever, and they might not be here on time or they're trying to cut weight. Cool, can we do it on Zoom? Please? Please. Okay, now let's get back to TKO boxing. Turkey's throwing around $400 million for Canelo's 4-fight deal. 400 M's. Half a billy. Half a big B. That's why Crawford's moving up. Because you're giving me $400 million, bro. I'm staying at my weight class. Canelo's making $150 million for this one. Allegedly. On the contract. Why weren't we giving Benavidez? If you're making $400 million, go fight the person you've been fucking ducking, Canelo. What's the big deal? Now, people are calling this the biggest fight of the decade. This is the biggest fight of the decade. Crawford has to move up to fight this guy. It's really not the biggest fight of the decade. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. The first TKO fight honestly should have had Tank in it. If we're being real, should have been Tank. Tank has way more popularity than Canelo. He does. I'm just so surprised that the UFC, being a non-promotional tool, they just like throw lambs to slaughter. They're throwing pepperoni at the wall and seeing if it lands with fighters. They're taking on more responsibilities. Dana's taking on more responsibilities. Dana, we've been waiting on the John Jones fight for about 2 years, bro. When's UFC 317 going to get announced? We are over here staring down Canelo and Bud Crawford. Who is going to stream this? There's word that this is going to be on Netflix, which, like, I'm very iffy about. I'm extremely iffy about, but it's Turkey. Turkey got that chicken. He's running the bread up. And honestly, UFC's trying to make their way to Netflix, which probably not a bad idea to get out of this ESPN deal, but I don't know. This just upsets me. This upsets me. This feels like the UFC is being treated as a stepchild right now, and UFC is just Dana White is just like TKO boxing. TKO boxing is number one. And he's just like, fuck the UFC. DDP's injured. He doesn't want to fight Hamzat. Whatever. John Jones doesn't want to unify the belt. Whatever. We're just gonna rebook Sean versus Marab. Like, who's really gonna care? Who's gonna cry about it? Tom Aspinall's been the longest reigning interim champion in our company's history. Who gives a fuck? I want to see Canelo versus Bud Crawford. Dana, please, bro, please. Maybe my boys, because like, if you wear too much of a tight hat, it will peel your scalp back. Maybe, however, they shaved my boy's head bald, peeled the scalp back a little too tight, and his brain is being depleted of blood and oxygen like every second, and that's why he's making these dumb decisions. That might be true. That might actually be real, because why the fuck is your first boxing fight Canelo versus Bud Crawford? Why not Canelo versus Benavidez? Why not? Why not? Canelo's getting paid $150 million for this fight. Allegedly. Why? This is not the biggest fight of the decade, and I'm not even really that big of a boxing fan, if we're being real. But if you're going to sit here and not pay attention to your own billion-dollar company so you could just run off with the Saudis and do some little bullshit boxing fights, what the fuck is this sport going to? Get Hunter in charge of the UFC immediately. Hunter needs to be in charge of the UFC immediately, because you're going out here and doing some bullshit. You just saw what Turkey's events look like this weekend. Boring. Super boring. Canelo ran in a circle for 12 rounds. Oh, excuse me. He stayed in the center of the circle for 12 rounds, and the dude he fought ran around him for 12 rounds and just popped jabs. Devin Haney barely threw any strikes. And Ryan just lost. What is combat sports right now? Why are the Saudis allowed to get a monopoly on combat sports? What is going on? What is going on? This is going to be a dumpster fire of a fight. And while Dana's super preoccupied with this, the UFC is going to go, meow. You think this dude's fucking accepting calls from John Jones while he's staring down Canelo and Crawford? Obviously not. Obviously not. Put Hunter in charge of the UFC immediately. Hunter's more focused than you, Dana. Hunter's more focused. You're over here on side missions with your boyfriend. You're on side missions with your little boyfriend, and that's about it. Hey, put Hunter in charge of the UFC right this second. Okay, boys? This is ridiculous.